I also heard you tell a great story. I'm sure you said it on interviews, but I heard it on Clubhouse about Bernie Mac. So I'm gonna ask you who your favorite comedian of all time was on Def Jam, and you said Bernie Mac, and you delivered the story on why and how I Ain't Scared of You motherfuckers came about, and just the greatness behind that. I don't want to sound too redundant, but talk about that moment, and also talk about some of your other favorite moments in Def Comedy Jam that you can remember outside of Bernie.
See, the thing with Def Comedy Jam and favorite moments, when Def Comedy Jam aired, whenever it would air from season to season, I would be so past it. Cause you got to remember, I get all that. I've been looking at it. This is
Right,
another.
right.
So other people's reactions are their reactions, and their favorite moments. I have moments that probably you don't even know who that comedian is. Type moments, you know what I mean? But at the same time, the Bernie moment is, and it's so, again, I saw that they did a documentary on Bernie's I Ain't Scared of You, and a lot of times, I guess because I'm not the Hollywood guy, you would want to get the real answer. Like right now, they're supposed to be doing a biopic on him. I spent like 2 to 3 years with him long before Kings of Comedy, doing them same jokes he did on the Kings of Comedy. You know what I mean? There's stories that we had, like there's scenes that would be perfect for this biopic. When we were in Tuskegee and Bernie held court like he was the dean of students. You know what I mean? It's things like that. But back to I Ain't Scared of You. And Bill actually just told a story on the Guy Tori's Fat Tuesday. And the story was kind of mixed up because Kevin Anthony, comedian out of DC, was actually on that show and did well. But when Bill was telling the story, they showed Kevin Anthony as if he was the one who got booed, and he wasn't the one that got booed. It wasn't you, Kev. So anyway, I'm happy to say that for Kev because it was crazy. But somebody did get booed. But we didn't air that person. We didn't even show that, part. But what had happened was whenever I would showcase the comedians per episode, it would be 5, and we would break it down to 4. So if it would only be 3 who do well in one show, I might take 2 out of the 5 out of another show and put them in. There's different ways to insert, make it work. So this particular show, the first comedian killed, and then the next comedian flatline.
Damn.
I mean, it was bad.
Wow.
But the next 3 comedians all killed. Well, I should say the next 2 killed.
Right.
So you had the first one killed, the second one flatlined, the next 2 killed. So now it's Bernie's turn. Everybody done forgot about the flatliner. Everybody.
Right.
But when Bernie walked in that stage, all everybody remembered was, now this was Bernie's second episode. His first episode, Stir It Like Coffee, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Like, they remembered that great performance. So everybody was happy and clapping and giving it up to him, right? And then Bernie just looked at the audience and said, "You don't understand. I ain't scared of you, mother." Right? And the place went crazy because it took all their laughter of seeing Bernie, their happiness, to a whole nother level because here he comes. He ready for part 2. And Kid Capri and Bernie had already been on tour with us. So they had their whole vaudeville, they had all that already popping. So when Bernie and Kid had that thing going back and forth, it was magic. You know what I mean? And it was a sad moment for that one guy who didn't do well. But boy, did it do wonders for Bernie in that performance with them crazy ass jeans on.
Oh,
I always think about that. I was thinking about that outfit that Bernie had on. That would be a beautiful thing to give to the museum in their comedy department. The African American Museum. They have a comedy exhibit down there, and everybody remembers that.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, that's what's up with
I
Bernie.
appreciate that.
Definitely, the show is brought to you by shoeboxmoneyclothing.com. Shoeboxmoneyclothing.com. Go to the website right now and get yourself some clothing. Back to Bernie. What do you think? And I pretty much think I know the answer, but what do you think that Bernie Mac, ranks as one of the top comedians of all time?
I mean, he going back to that moment on
Right.
August the 5th, 1991. I felt like I was seeing one of the greatest then, and that was my first time seeing him.
Right.
But I always say that when you have the ability, now I've watched thousands of sets. I've watched thousands of comedians.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch Bernie Mac every night tell pretty much the same jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would laugh every night as if I've never heard that joke before.
Wow, that's unique.
That means you a badass.
You go another level.
That's like listening to Richard Pryor's Is It Something I Said? And he's talking about Mudbone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like you're just gonna laugh. It's like listening to Eddie Murphy at the cookout. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean? And she had a mustache and all that. It's like certain things just make you laugh. And Bernie Mac is just, he's one of my favorites ever. But when you talk about different, you asked me about different performances on Def Jam. There's so many. Chris Tucker's performance was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Griffin's was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Sheryl Underwood's was brilliant. Adele Givens' Wailing Tic Tac is it's thing of legend. And it's so many. Bill Bellamy's Booty Call.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many, man. Crazy.
Tiffany.